Hello everybody, I hope you guys are having an absolutely fantastic evening. In today's video, I do want to talk about Palantir, ticker symbol PLTR. Yesterday was the Reagan Defense Forum, and Dr. Alex Karp was in full effect. And you know what I love to say, once you go Karp, you'll never go dark. There's a 6-minute highlight video that came out from Palantir. I'm going to play this in the second half of this video. But before I do, I got a lot of DMs. I got a lot of comments from people telling me, hey, Adam, if you play a video, can you give us an abbreviation before you play the video in your own words and then play the video so it's a lot easier to follow along? This is what I'm going to do right now in the first half of this video, followed by playing this actual video. Before I go any further, if this is something that you think that you would enjoy, some commentary and the actual video, do me a favor, give me the likes and give me a comment, even if it says algo for algorithm down below. So this way, the YouTube almighty algorithm can show me some love because they know that you guys are showing me some love. And I will greatly appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. With that said, let me give you a quick abbreviation of everything that was said in the 6-minute video, and then I'm going to play you the 6-minute video. Alex Karp starts by talking about a very important date, February 24th, prior, and February 24th, post. And this is the Ukrainian invasion from Russia. He says prior to February 24th, all the enemies of the United States, all of our adversaries, and even a lot of our own allies believe that the United States military is good. However, our enemy's military is just as good or better. Dr. Alex Karp is like, we knew the difference, but a lot of people doubted us. And then things completely changed after February 24th of 2022, after the invasion. If you guys have been following the news, you remember that the invasion was supposed to take 3 days and Russia was supposed to steamroll the entire Ukraine invasion. However, things really took a turn for the worse for Russia, and this is my point of view, and Ukraine is still fighting. You might agree with it, you might not agree with it, but a year later, and Ukraine is still in the fight. He says, post February 24th of 2022, the use of technology has changed modern warfare as we perceive it today. And this was not the case before the invasion of Ukraine. He says that post February 24th is a prime example using Ukraine showcased into the entire world of the amazing technology that the West can produce. And this amazing technology can now level the playing field when it comes to modern warfare. And this is something that we didn't see before. He believes that Palantir is in full showcase, not just Palantir, other great American companies, but this is definitely a showcase on Palantir's abilities, and this is going to allow Palantir to grow in the future. This is his opinion. He says our technology is so good, and an example in Ukraine, that our enemies not only now know who we are, they're not only mindful of our technology, they're also fearful of this technology. And he says, as per President Reagan, he used the quote, having the proper technology, having the edge in modern warfare, having something in the West that your enemies do not have, and having something that your enemies absolutely respect, appreciate, and understand is the way that we avoid war in the future. Dr. Alex Karp on many occasions says, hey, we're not here to wipe out Russia. We want Russia to exist. We just want Russia not to invade again. He believes that through Palantir Technologies and other great American companies, that this is leveling the playing field where other countries might just think twice before invading a smaller, perceived weaker country. And this is literally being shown to us in Ukraine. Again, whether you believe Russia's winning or you believe Ukraine is winning, one thing is undoubtable. Russia was supposed to win in 3 days. That never happened. Then Russia was supposed to win in 3 months. That never happened. Then Russia was supposed to take out Ukraine without using any reservists. That didn't happen. They just called in 300,000 reservists and they're calling in more reservists. So obviously Ukraine is a huge mother effing problem that Vladimir Putin just did not count on. Now, this thing is for certain, and you can see it in current modern warfare, what's happening in Ukraine. This is not my opinion. This is factual. And the only thing you got to ask yourself is, if it's not factual, well, how is Ukraine still standing? It's irrelevant how much funding they're getting, irrelevant what army they have, irrelevant what technology they have. At the end of the day, this is exactly what CARP is talking about. This is exactly what us Palantir holders are talking about. If you have the right technology, it can level the playing field. He says, as a whole U.S. commerce, as the whole commercial U.S. sector, there was a shift in the way we think. We and our resources are now starting to support the United States, not work against the United States. He says there's been a really big shift where before all these countries that are making billions, tens of billions, hundreds of billions, and trillions of dollars are working with our perceived enemies. But they are not working with the United States, or they are causing a lot of friction when working with the United States. Palantir always believed that if you want to make United States better, if you want to make our economy better, if you want to work on our civil liberties, you must work with the United States government. Don't turn your back on the government. Don't turn your back on the country that made you absolutely freaking rich. And I think a lot of people understand this comment that Dr. Alex Karp always says, and I think a lot of people respect what he says when it comes to that. I personally do. He was asked about Russia and all the commercial clients that left Russia, all the commercial businesses, are they going to return? He says, I don't think that a lot of them in totality are going to return. Some of them obviously are. He says one of the things is when you want to attract the best of the best will not come to a country that has uncertainty. They will not come to a country and develop in a country when that country can just go and invade one of their neighbors, and they can escalate it even worse. At the end of the day, nobody is coming to Russia because Russia cannot explain to them why their country is good to develop in. This is Dr. Alex Karp's words, not mine. However, I do tend to agree with him. He was asked about China, and he left off with saying that there's going to be a decoupling from China from the U.S. industry, and this is going to be escalated as the years go on, because there is most certainly a need for decoupling with China, as everything that we have in the United States literally comes from China. Guys, this was a quick 8-minute abbreviation of a 6-minute video, which sounds actually really, really funny. In the second half of this video, I am going to play the video. You guys can listen to it. I hope you appreciated the abbreviation, and do me a favor before I go any further. Let me know in the comments a yes or no. Yes, you like me to abbreviate the video that I'm about to play. No, don't abbreviate anything. Just play the video in the future so that I know which way you guys like me to make my videos and make my content. I try to make it the way you guys like it at the end of the day. And I know that there's a lot of competition out there for YouTubers. So I greatly 100% again love you guys all. And thank you so much. I appreciate you for choosing the Adam Bergman Show to actually watch my videos. Have a great evening. Enjoy the second half of the video.
Before February 24th, I think the narrative among our adversaries, and certainly even among some of our allies, and when I've talked to them, a lot of our business outside of America, was something like, well, you in America, you love liberty, you produce great films, but in fact, the adversaries are as good as you are on military, and they're willing to do things you're not. And I think the February 24th and what's happening in the Ukraine, involving technology in ways some can't really talk about always in public, has changed the narrative around war and America to it's the liberty-loving, tech-building people of the West, especially of America, who produce products that are so superior that the non-freedom-loving people need to shiver a little more than they have in the past. And this is crucial for the West and all of our allies who primarily love the freedoms and liberties we have, to show our adversaries that, in fact, we are superior at modern warfare, which I would define as tech-enhanced kinetic attack weapons. So software-enhanced. The fact that software is eating the world is horrifically important for businesses, most of our businesses in the private sector, but it's particularly advantageous for America because America is the best at building software. And the fact that we can build weapons, software-enhanced weapons that really make our adversaries quiver, as Senator Graham said in a more articulate way than I could, that prevents war. And now, what does that mean for the tech sector? You're seeing a lot of tech companies who once thought the way to support the U.S. military was to first-hand technology to our adversaries, and this has shifted. There's more of a unity of we are going to support the U.S. government, not just crazy Palantir and their crazy, batshit crazy CEO. It's like we are going to support the U.S. government. And this is crucial It's like we have the resources in this country. We often have not used them to support our warfighters, and that's changed, and in great part because our adversaries are clearly just worthy of getting kicked in the fanny.
A technical term.
Yeah. The thing is that there's in philosophy you have sometimes you have dynamics that are kind of autopoietic, meaning they self-actualize. A lot of your questions are what should we ought to do, but in reality, American business has decoupled from China, and I would say the dynamic in this country is very much one of skepticism, and that is going to affect our policies. And I believe, you can argue about what should happen, but what will happen is a decoupling. Now, again, I'm not saying that's what one should want, but if you look at the pressures on business, the pressures on military, the pressures on polity, Americans by and large support this. And then again, in American business currently, 5-6 years ago, there were a lot of industries that thought they were going to export to China and America. There still are some, very few. And so that's just going to have a very different dynamic on the future. And again, I would disambiguate is and ought. I think that is what's going to happen.
So let me stay with you. One of the notable phenomena in the aftermath of Russia's expanded war in Ukraine was the flight of private sector business from Russia. Does that merely reflect the coercive power of sanctions, or is there something else happening here? Are different choices, value choices being made by the private sector?
Well, again, we of course didn't have to flee Russia; we were never there. So, so I think honestly, good moral choices will lead to good business choices. But I think what really is going to hurt Russia over the long haul is just in my business, you need the best of the best of the best of the best. And they do not want to work in a country that is invading their neighbor and committing atrocities. And it's not the GDP in Russia is just not one that most international businesses are particularly focused on. That's different than China, obviously. Although I'd say that's more European businesses. What will really mess up your ability to build complicated technical systems is an inability to explain to people what is good about my country. And again, it doesn't have to. And I think that's why people fled. And I don't think they're going to go back very quickly. And it's not actually about the capital market. It's about the moral market.
Is it especially incumbent on America's high-tech partners to make a choice about where they're doing business?
I think it is an indisputable fact that there are certain things, software platforms, that are disruptive, and America is the focal point of building. And there are other countries. Israel is quite strong. There's some strong companies in France. It is absolutely essential that we make decisions that are long-term in unison with the countries that allowed us to grow. In this case, for most of us, the United States of America. And I don't think we should be allowed to just say, oh, we got rich here. We are the wealthiest, most powerful people in industry in the world, but we don't support the United States of America. And why? Because you see in the Ukraine, and you will see in other places, that the products we build actually sway the world to our direction. Not as a matter of theory, not as a matter of rhetoric, but a matter of fact. And that's why I think we have a higher level of responsibility.